CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a housing mega project in South London, which seems to have exposed a disconnect on a city committee between London's long-term planning goals and the imminent housing pressures. With more on the debate along Pack Road, here's Daryl Newcomb.
It's an over-the-top, in-your-face, overbearing development, edging on a village.
Residents of southeast London filled council chambers. They're opposed to Southside Construction's application to permit a cluster of high-rise buildings up to 16 stories tall along Pack Road.
The proposed amendment is not in keeping with the London plan or with SWAP.
My view of both the London plan and the Southwest Secondary Plan.
Delegate after delegate argued that the city's long-term planning documents call for medium and low-density housing no higher than 9 stories along that stretch of Pack Road. Councillor Sam Trosso warning colleagues that supporting the rezoning could shake public confidence in all of London's long-term planning documents, which were developed at great cost and with extensive public input.
He will be undermining people's confidence in the integrity of our previous planning processes, and I say that with all due respect.
But the mayor said building heights within those plans are being updated because the current housing crisis couldn't be foreseen.
Everything that's happened since then with this housing pressure that we've had, these plans are not reflective of the pressure that we face today.
The deputy mayor adding that there's plenty of time to address neighbors' concerns about traffic, sewers, and stormwater.
This is a 15 to 20 year build out. These buildings aren't going to be there tomorrow. They're not going to be there next year.
The staff recommendation includes a long list of conditions known as holding provisions that the developer has to meet before the high-rise buildings can be constructed.
It's a way that we improve density, move forward to allow multi-decade planning, but put guardrails in place.
I have grave concerns that we are going to say yes, and then we'll fix it up along the way. We heard this is going to take a long time to get it fixed. But why are we approving it?
Ultimately, the planning committee voted 4-1 in favor of the planning application. But even among the development supporters, several questions remain.
That rendering that we saw with that wall of apartments concerns me. I want to get more information on that before council.
City Council will make a final decision July 22nd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A new era is beginning for Youth Opportunities Unlimited. The organization is entering a transitional phase, naming a new CEO for the first time in nearly 4 decades. As Jerry Dewan reports, she's no stranger to YOU's operations and mandate.
Steve Cordes has been executive director of Youth Opportunities Unlimited for more than 35 years. One of his last tasks has been preparing a report to help with the leadership transition.
As I was writing that and reminding myself of those milestones, it becomes really emotional for me. And I was telling the management team earlier this week, we were talking about vulnerability, when you bring your vulnerability to work. And I said, I'm getting used to crying in public now.
But having Andrea Topham named as his successor this week has given Cordes confidence the organization is in good hands.
I'm retiring more easily, knowing that it's somebody who understands the culture so well coming in.
Topham's fingerprints are already on YOU operations. She was with the organization as they launched the Cornerstone Project in 2011, a bold initiative that established geared to youth supportive housing.
I learned so much, and I've taken so much of what I've learned from Steve with me, for sure. It's emotional for me to come back. I'm excited to come back. And really honored that I get to build on the legacy that Steve created here.
Youth Opportunities Unlimited has changed dramatically in the time that Steve Cordes has been at the helm, going from a youth employment consultation service to offering a wide range of opportunities for young people. That includes skills training young people get while working in the U Cafe, and now the transitional housing that's part of Jones Place, geared to young women who are pregnant, young mothers, and young families. Topham is hoping to build on the work done under Cordes' leadership.
For me, it's really about learning from the staff who have been working at Youth Opportunities. They're the experts in this work, and I think that my job is really to walk alongside and support them, and then together we'll look at where we're going to go next.
YOU Board Chair Terry Gillis says there were more than 100 candidates for the executive director position, but he's gratified the top candidate was the one who had such strong ties to the community and the organization.
Coming home She knows the organization so well. She knows the sector so well. We really feel it's going to be seamless.
Topham is currently CEO of Community Services Coordination Network, which supports children and youth with developmental disabilities. She'll assume her new role on August 18th. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
A local animal advocacy group says canine parvovirus concerns are over at a community housing complex. According to Progressive Animal Welfare Services, 8 dogs were infected and 6 died. The virus spread across 2 apartment buildings on Warncliffe Road last month. Mobile vaccine clinics were set up outside the complex where 31 dogs received shots, and a booster clinic is scheduled for next month. Officials with the housing authority say they've been disinfecting indoor and outdoor common areas.
Within 2 weeks of us understanding that there did seem to be an outbreak, we rallied everybody involved in order to get a clinic on site. So we brought the veterinarians. They volunteered their time and donated a lot of product. With the proximity to Gibbons Park, we were particularly worried because it can spread to other animals easily. So there's always parvovirus out there. The important part is for them to be vaccinated. So for anybody else in the community that can get their dog to a clinic, get it vaccinated.
A message from Tori Staffords' father today on what would have been the little girl from Woodstock's 25th birthday. More than a decade after her death, he wants to keep her memory alive through acts of kindness. Lauren Stallone reports.
Victoria Stafford was a larger-than-life, bubbly 8-year-old girl. Her father describes her as having a heart of gold.
Still hear nothing but positive thoughts from her friends and just how she used to be, and just overall was a great little friend.
Victoria was known as Tori to those who loved her most, and now to the world. Tori was abducted while walking home from school in Woodstock on April 8, 2009. Her body was found in a field 3 months later. Investigators determined she had been raped, tortured, and killed.
Her birth, just 25 years ago today, holding her in my hands, and vowing to protect her forever. And, kind of days like this, it makes it feel like I failed. But in a sense, there was nothing we could do.
Now, to mark what would have been Tori's 25th birthday, her father, Rodney, is asking members of the public to perform random acts of kindness in memory of his daughter.
Whether it be the loss of a child or through the courts or whatever, we just continue to try to do what we can to be there for others and use Victoria's instance as an example as to why things have to change.
Rodney says he misses Tori every day, but knows a part of her will always be with him.
Sometimes it'll be something as small as a butterfly, a song, just even something somebody may say that would remind me of something Victoria would say, or just who she was.
Rodney says he is grateful for his community that have helped keep Tori's memory alive over the past 16 years and will continue to do so forever.
If you never met her, it's hard to explain, but at the same time, it's really not. She was a beautiful little girl, taken far too soon.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
A 2-car crash shut down a street in central London this afternoon. The cars collided at Stanley and Horn Streets. The force of the impact caused one vehicle to jump the curb. The other sustained significant front-end damage. A witness tells CTV News they saw one person taken to hospital. Border agents say 2 people from London face numerous drug and weapon charges. They say agents intercepted gun parts heading to a London address at a mail processing center in the Toronto area. They say a search warrant was later executed in London this spring, seizing several items. According to the CBSA, those included privately manufactured handguns, a 3D printer, as well as parts and various drugs. London police say they've charged 2 suspects through a downtown shooting investigation dating back to last year. They say an 18-year-old man from Toronto and a 20-year-old from Brampton were arrested last week in the GTA. Police say they've since been returned to London and remain in custody. Police said they were called to Dundas and Wellington last November after a security guard found bullet holes in the back door of an illegal cannabis shop. No injuries were reported, though. The cost of President Trump's trade war is starting to show up on American store shelves, with inflation shooting up last month south of the border. Inflation also crept up here in Canada, but not to the same extent. With more on that, here's Abigail Beeman.
This family is not surprised to hear the cost of furniture has jumped.
Didn't want to spend a lot of money on real wood or anything right now, so IKEA was perfect.
Overall, new numbers from Statistics Canada show the Consumer Price Index rose 1.9% year over year in June, and that's up from 1.7% in May.
In general, it's good news because we are seeing inflation kind of stay below that 2% marker.
But important to note, when you take energy out of the equation, the number is much higher, 2.7%, and that's in part because of the removal of the carbon tax. Gas prices continue to be lower, though June's decline was smaller than May. Better news for your grocery bill. Food prices are increasing at a slower pace, largely driven by a decline in vegetable prices, specifically helped by cheaper onions and cucumbers.
If we didn't have two incomes coming in, we wouldn't be able to afford the life that we have.
Another standout category, car prices. Those are up 4.1%. And in the used car market, 1.7%. And that is the first year-over-year increase in 18 months.
Low supply, high demand, and used car prices have been going up.
Now to trade it in, I get good money for it, but the price of new vehicles is almost beyond reach.
A big question in all of this, the impact of the trade war with the U.S. Opinions are mixed, and Statistics Canada isn't saying much, with some economists saying it's too early to see the hit now. But buckle up.
If you're not frightened almost to death, then you haven't been paying attention.
And we are expecting to see Canada's economy shrink a little bit in this second quarter.
These numbers are the last look the Bank of Canada has at price data before the next interest rate decision coming July 30th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A warning from electricity experts about the demands expected in the coming years and whether our power grid will be able to keep up. As Rukhsar Ali reports, without solutions, roughly half of North America's population could be dealing with rolling blackouts.
Extreme weather events have left thousands of Canadians without power, sometimes for weeks. And climate change could make it worse.
The grid that we have today has not been designed for accommodating such extreme scenarios.
Between 2013 and 2023, Canada's 10 most significant weather events that impacted power grids caused about 20 million electricity interruptions to customers.
More shortfalls can occur during these extreme weather events, and it poses a serious concern for reliability.
A recent report from the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, or NERC, found that most provinces were found to be increasingly vulnerable during extreme weather, putting them at risk of shortfalls. Nova Scotia, one of the most vulnerable.
So we've had Hurricane Dorian, Hurricane Fiona, which is the biggest storm we've ever had in Nova Scotia. We had Hurricane Lee, we've had wildfires, floods, pretty much everything, and all of those have weakened the power system.
Climate change isn't the only factor putting pressure on the grid. So is increased demand, with more people using everything from electric vehicles to heat pumps.
We're going to need more wind, more solar, more hydro, more nuclear to be able to meet the challenges of the future.
And the artificial intelligence boom is another potential challenge. Massive amounts of electricity needed to run thousands of servers.
10 years ago, if we were told that 10 years later, one of your biggest challenges is going to be AI data centers, people would think that this is just science fiction.
The major challenge is meeting Canada's energy needs before demand outpaces progress. But with more frequent extreme weather events and more strain on the grid, that task is becoming more urgent. Rukhsar Ali, CTV News, Toronto.
A larger-than-life figure with a reputation dating back more than a century is the subject of a new exhibit at the Elgin County Heritage Centre. With more on the lasting legacy of Jumbo the elephant, here's Brent Lale.
Jumbo's story, I think a lot of people know the ending. They know what happened and the tragedy that occurred here. But there's so much more that we wanted to be able to share.
140 years after his death, an exhibit takes you through the life of the African elephant, who went from Paris to England, where he became a beloved pet at the Zoological Gardens for 17 years.
His stardom really exploded and Jumbo Mania really took hold when P.T. Barnum came onto the scene and offered to buy Jumbo from the zoo. One of my favorite artifacts that we have is this letter from P.T. Barnum to Abraham Bartlett, who is the superintendent at the London Zoological Gardens, actually discussing the sale of Jumbo.
Jumbo became so famous, his likeness and name became a marketing tool.
His name started really showing up on different objects, different pieces of memorabilia, from shoelaces to matches to cigar boxes to pop bottles. This one was presented to Abraham Bartlett, the superintendent of the London Zoo, by P.T. Barnum, essentially thanking him for selling Jumbo.
Jumbo was with Barnum for 3 years until his death.
September 15th, 1885, Jumbo was, they were wrapping up a show in St. Thomas, and Jumbo was being walked back to his train car along with another elephant, Tom Thumb, when an unscheduled freight train unfortunately was coming down the tracks at the same time, and Jumbo was struck and killed. This is one of the advertisements that we have for Jumbo's last appearance, dated for St. Thomas, Tuesday, September 15th.
And maybe the most important and historical piece?
A slice of Jumbo's tusk. And this piece is really important for us because it is such a unique piece. Only 5 of these slices were ever prepared.
About 90% of the memorabilia either belongs to local historian Steve Peters or was once in his collection. Now it's available for the public to see.
This exhibition is really just a celebration of his life and his legacy.
Brent Leo, CTV News.
When we come back, can Canada still land a tariff-free trade deal with the U.S.? The Prime Minister appears to be rolling back expectations. That's next on CTV News. Checking today's market numbers, Canada's main stock index fell more than 140 points. In New York, the Dow fell 436, the Nasdaq gained 37. The Canadian dollar down 1/10 cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell $22 an ounce and oil lost 44 cents a barrel. The Prime Minister has seemingly shifted his tone when it comes to a potential tariff-free trade deal with the United States. As Rachel Aiello reports, an agreement like that may even be off the table for any country.
I expect that the discussions will intensify between now and the end of the month.
Staring down an August 1st deadline, today the Prime Minister convened a rare summer cabinet meeting to discuss U.S. President Donald Trump's latest 35% tariff threat. With the goalpost moved again, Carney lowered expectations that Canada can get a deal that would result in Trump dropping all tariffs, noting that so far no country has managed to secure a tariff-free trade agreement with the U.S.
It certainly comes off as a bit of a wake-up call.
It's an admission this lawyer, who used to litigate for Canada against the United States, says sends a clear signal to businesses.
If a baseline tariff does look like it's going to stick, then all of a sudden you can't operate in that environment forever, and you have to make real lasting decisions with respect to your customers and your suppliers.
Trump today sounded more optimistic about how talks are going.
We're negotiating with Canada right now, and we'll see how that all works out. I think it's going to work out very well.
This comes as data suggests Canadians are split on their confidence in Carney delivering a deal. New polling shows 63% of Canadians surveyed said they want the Prime Minister to push back and take a harder line in negotiations, while 37% prefer a softer approach.
Domestic confidence is going to be important. Carney needs to feel like he has a mandate from the people of Canada.
Carney campaigned on a promise to take on Trump with his elbows up. But since winning the election, even as the president has ratcheted up the trade war, Canada has not levied any new retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Clear conditions overnight and lots of sunshine for your Wednesday morning. Another hot one on the way. Temperature first thing in the morning, 20 to 22 and feeling close to 30. Thanks for this photo of crypto. If you are heading out for a walk tomorrow morning, make sure to bring some water with you. It will be hot. Another hot one, but cooler conditions arrive as we head toward the weekend with the passage of a cold front. Chance for showers as that front comes through. I'll have the timing coming up right after this.
Welcome back with Julie on the desk now after a hot and dry day in southwestern Ontario for us. It looks like there's the chance for some parts of the region to get some precipitation in the next couple days because it has been pretty dry lately.
Yeah, looking for some rainfall for sure. I know my grass is starting to look like it needs a good soaking. Of course, we have our heat warning in effect, but Carlyle, I'm tracking a cold front that could bring some scattered showers to the area tomorrow afternoon, more isolated than scattered rather, and the possibility of a thunderstorm. The widespread heat warning in effect for your Wednesday. Today we hit 30 degrees. It'll be a bit warmer tomorrow, and the humidity even more intense. 15 degrees our low temperature last night. Now overnight we'll dip down between 19 and 20 degrees. Winds will be light and variable overnight, and skies will remain clear. Waking up tomorrow morning to sunshine, but our next weather system is starting to take shape, and you can see some rainfall that's been moving through northern Ontario, starting to push into Quebec, and heading into tomorrow, this front will slowly start to push its way towards our area. Out ahead of it, the humidity will be increasing. So today it felt like the upper 30s. Tomorrow it will feel like 40 to 41. But that should be the end of our heat warning, because this cold front will come across the area as we head into Thursday, bringing cooler and drier conditions for Friday into Saturday and Sunday. So this is tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. So you can see some showers, possibility of a thunderstorm, lots of active weather in Michigan. So this could hold together and start to move into southern Ontario. This forecast model really starts to fizzle it out and put us back into a quiet pattern as we head into the evening. The cold front will come across Thursday with a chance of showers, but by Thursday afternoon you can see just mainly cloudy with sunny breaks. So by Thursday evening, the air will start to shift into the northwest, allowing some cooler, drier conditions, and those dew points will start to drop. That means the comfort level will start to go up for you, so you'll start to feel a bit better. If the heat has got you down, 31 for tomorrow, feeling like 40 if you're heading to Grand Bend, Port Stanley tomorrow. Just be aware in the afternoon there's the potential for a few showers and thunderstorms. If you are heading to East Park, our East Park forecast for tomorrow, a great day to be at the water park early in the day, even into the afternoon, because those showers and thunderstorms will be hit and miss. 27 as we head into Thursday with a chance of showers. Probability ramps up to a 60% chance. And then Friday into a mix of sun and cloud. Look at the temperature drop Friday, 24 degrees. That is going to be nice and comfortable. It'll be beautiful. Even those overnight lows, 12 to 14. Mix of sun and cloud on Saturday night. We could squeak out a little bit of light rainfall. Possibility of a few showers on Sunday. Mix of sun and cloud Monday and Tuesday. But looking at the extended forecast models, nothing looks to be a significant rain out in terms of an all-day rain or anything like that. We haven't had one of those in a while. As we head into tomorrow, it'll be a hot and humid day, 30 to 31 across southern Ontario, and feeling close to 40 to 41. Chance of showers, and we could see some storms Thursday morning and through the Bruce Peninsula. South of that, scattered showers. Mix of sun and cloud Friday into Saturday. Daytime highs from 24 to 25 degrees, and even an overnight low of plus 10. That's going to feel nice, even nice enough to open up those windows. The weekend, a mix of sun and cloud with a chance of showers on Sunday.
Thanks, Julie. A local baseball prospect is about to start a minor league journey toward big league dreams. He was selected during yesterday's MLB draft. Scott Miller has more on his plans to climb the professional ranks.
Tyson Moran became the first Wingham resident to ever hear his name called in the MLB draft. The 19-year-old is about to become a professional baseball player.
Sounds really good. Oh, it's a dream come true, and I'm looking forward to it.
Surrounded by family, friends, and teammates, Moran was selected in the 13th round of the 20-round MLB draft on Monday. He was selected 398th overall by the Kansas City Royals.
It hasn't soaked in yet. I'm sure it will in the next couple of days, but just trying to not take it for granted.
Moran, who played for the Great Lake Canadians in Dorchester, put himself on Major League Scouts' radar within the past year, winning MVP at the Toronto Blue Jays Futures Showcase in September and hitting 2 home runs against professional pitchers in an Arizona-based showcase this March. Moran was planning on playing at North Dakota State University this fall, but instead he'll be heading to Arizona to join Kansas City's other draftees in the Arizona Complex League.
I won't be playing for Great Lakes anymore. I'll be in the Kansas City Royals organization, kind of just working my way up from ground zero. So kind of proving myself. This is kind of the first step, if you will, to pro ball.
Now, Moran is under no illusions. He is fully aware that 13th round picks of the Major League drafts don't usually make it to the majors. But his coaches say if there is someone who is going to make it from the 13th round, it is going to be Tyson Moran.
Obviously, the hit tool is what really stands out with him, but I think the separator is going to be the makeup. There's a tremendous amount of determination in Tyson. You know, he was a player that Great Lake cut several times, and he kept coming back. He used it as motivation to improve his game and really take off.
Just to hear my name called, that's kind of the 100% for me, to kind of my way of thinking that, like, I did it kind of thing.
In Wingham, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Finally tonight, an Edmonton golf course opening up its fairways to four-legged caddies. Their club selection might be a little rough, but as Naramanisa reports, you can't beat the companionship.
This is Tyler Douglas and Kobe's first time hitting the links together.
The biggest challenge, I think, is going to keep him out of the water hazards, so we'll see how he handles it, but should be good. It's nice to be able to bring him up.
Normally, golf courses want you to keep your pets at home. At Cattails Crossing, dogs are welcome once a week.
Every Monday, we have Doggy Mondays all day. So a lot of people love to bring their dogs out there. Some people walk the course. Some people take carts.
Never been able to take him out on a course. It's a nice way to spend an evening, and, you know, instead of having to take him to a park and walk him, you know, we get to go play around a golf.
It's not just bonding time between pets and its owners. The dogs get to meet new friends.
We try and come every Monday with him, just because he's a puppy still. So you try and keep him in a bit of a routine, and it definitely helps out with his energy levels and gets him socializing with other dogs and other humans too. I went to go tee off, and he grabbed my ball and ran away with it. So
owners are required to keep the fairways clean.
Obviously, things happen, but yeah, just making sure that you're taking them probably closer to a tree in the rough there.
Staff say the response to Doggy Mondays has been positive.
A lot of people absolutely love bringing their dog out here. Even people who don't have dogs, they love seeing dogs out here.
Naramanisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.